Hey, welcome to another live stream with me, Drew James from Learn Guitar in London. Really good to have you here with me today. I'm testing out a few things. I've got a new LED light which is blazing in my eyes right now, and I'm actually kind of getting used to it now. It's been like yellowy and I look like I had jaundice for a while, but I'm starting to get used to it. So today, here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about learning guitar on YouTube. We're going to be talking about the pros and cons of doing that. We're going to be talking about the guitar video games. You know the things I mean, right? The things where there's a little bouncy ball and you have to play along. We're going to be talking about one-to-one lessons. And we're going to be talking about a brand new exciting project that I have called Premium Student Area. And on top of that, I also want to tell you about a guitar lead which is just completely changed the way that I do things, and it's fantastic. I really like it. Then we'll have a bit of Q&A where you guys can tell me what you've been doing. I will give a shout out when I look in the chat in just a second. And then I've got a really piece of very exciting news that you're going to want to stick around for right towards the end. It's kind of similar to what happened this time last year, for those of you that might remember. And finally, I want to talk about my latest lesson. In fact, I won't say finally with that. We'll start with my latest lesson. Have you seen it? It's Perfect by Ed Sheeran. It's not perfect. The song is called Perfect by Ed Sheeran. And it is a big hit here in the UK at the moment. I don't know whether you guys have heard it yet around the rest of the world, but it is absolutely fantastic. Generally, every winter he seems to do a ballad, and that ballad is like a smash hit. And I decided this time to do a fingerstyle instrumental of that song. So you can check that out. I've actually included a link in cards in this video, so you can check that, have a watch. You can also grab the tab for free from the student area. And I've put a lot of effort into that, so it'd be really great to hear what you guys think. Still getting used to my lighting in the video. You'll be able to see it looks kind of yellowy. So let's just quickly go through the chat and just see who's around, see what's going on. Nathed, how you doing? Gizmo, William, David Mitchell, hey, how you doing? Zero, Rolling Stones, Outcrem. Great to see you. Hopefully we'll have more of you on board really soon. So let's start with learning guitar on YouTube. Obviously this is a subject that's really close to my heart. I've been doing it for a number of years, and I've been teaching online now for nearly 6 years. That's Skype one-to-one lessons as well. And what I've noticed about YouTube lessons is, first of all, there's more and more of them over the last few years. There's been more and more teachers getting on board, which is great, because you guys are getting a huge choice, and everyone's got their favorite teacher, haven't they? Everyone's got somewhere who they like to go and learn from, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. However, one of the drawbacks to it is learning from loads of different teachers with all their own little ways and styles of doing things can be a little overwhelming at first. It can just be a little bit too much. One person calls it the E string, another person calls it string 6, and we all go at different paces. Some of us go really fast if we're teaching intermediates, some of us go slow. So my first bit of advice is when you find a teacher that you feel that you've got their learning style, you understand what they're doing, is stay with them. Yes, they're not going to do every single song that you like, but the chances are is that if they understand your learning style, there's a good chance that they're going to be putting out song lessons of songs that you actually really like. So that's one thing. The other thing is, usually for every good lesson that there is on YouTube, there's often quite a bad lesson on YouTube. So what you'll find is you'll find yourself searching all the time for great lessons, and that is taking up your valuable practice time. All right, you should not need to be sitting there typing in, how do I do this, that and the other, and then having to go from one lesson to the next, and before you know it, you're looking at cat videos and not learning guitar at all. So this kind of leads me to the last thing about YouTube lessons, which is sometimes, especially if you're a beginner, they can be quite overwhelming. There's so much choice, so many different ways of doing a thing, so many different teachers, that it can be like, where on earth do I start? So once again, my advice is, instead of kind of going through unorganized, random, unsupported YouTube lessons, not everyone can afford this, I know, but use structured courses. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them you don't have to pay for. I know plenty of teachers, and myself, that my beginner's acoustic course, for example, is structured for you to learn the right things at the right time. All right, so when you're choosing your own lessons on YouTube, it's up to you to decide which ones you want to learn, and you may be putting too much on your plate, right? Trying to learn too much and then getting overwhelmed with it all. Okay, so let's go through some of your questions. I can see you guys are asking me questions, so really, really good to hear from you. So let's start with, can you please teach how to play in different keys and guitar and how to figure out the chords? It's a really, really big subject that you've asked me there, Rolling Stone. In terms of playing in different keys, my advice is investigate what a capo is. A capo, when you change its position on the neck, is actually changing the key. But the good thing is about us being guitarists is that we don't need to change the chords that we're making. Because if we do a C chord but the capo is moved onto the 2nd fret, that C chord then becomes a D. So you have changed the key. All right, so I hope that's useful. Middle 3 has said, how can I change my fingers quickly? I don't quite know what you're talking about there, but I presume you mean like changing chords and that sort of thing quickly. My advice is repetition, over and over and over. Most chords, you need to play them around about 10,000 times before they're under your fingertips and you can change them without thinking about it. William's saying I should do Twitch. Isn't that video games, William? That's what I thought. I didn't think it was guitar lessons, but maybe I'm wrong. Hey John, how you doing? And Tabasco Pio, hello, how are you doing? Thank you for all the lessons. Anyway, let's get on to the next thing that I want to talk about. So that's the guitar video games. So I'm not going to mention any companies, but if you guys have ever watched a YouTube lesson, YouTube guitar lesson, you'll probably get this advert telling you that you can master the guitar. First of all, I really don't like that term, mastering the guitar. There's something about that just makes my skin crawl. Anyway, master the guitar by using their video games. You know the company that I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say it, but you know the company. Anyway, I tried this. Okay, I gave it a go because I was curious. They popped up about 3 years ago, so I tried it. Maybe some of you guys have tried it. Have you? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. But this was my experience of it. The app was fantastic, really easy to use. The songs were good, and it was well structured, actually. Things went the right way, okay, which is fantastic. And I'd do a song, and I'd choose something a little bit harder because I've been playing guitar a bit longer. And at the end of it, I'd be given points, right? So I was playing guitar for points. And I got about sort of 70%, and it showed me in the song where I wasn't going right. So obviously you can hear my guitar, hear what I'm doing, and it tells me when I'm in sync. And it told me where I was going wrong, and I thought, this is fantastic. We're getting feedback. That's awesome. So getting feedback on your playing is one of the best things really that you can get as a learning guitarist. You know, the thing about learning through YouTube videos is that there is no one watching you back. So there's no way of knowing that you could be doing something different, doing something better, etc. Okay, so this app that I used was giving me feedback on my playing, but when I went to the app to see, well, how can I get better, it couldn't tell me, right? It couldn't know that I need to be refining my picking technique, that I need to be looking at my phrasing on this one particular passage. It could just say, this was the bit you did wrong. Go back to the drawing board, off you go. So while I loved the fact you got feedback from this app, what I didn't like was the fact that it didn't tell me how to get better. It just said, this is what's wrong. But other than that, pretty good experience. Maybe you guys have tried it. So Nate said, I've tried it. It's useful. Fantastic. Device tricks for you. Yes, you've got it right. Chris has said you've been trying to nail bar chords. How I've been playing a song, I always bum the note out. Chris, it's a big one, the bar chords. My advice is type in bar chord exercises, D-R-U-E, Drue, into YouTube. There's one of my favourite all-time lessons there. John has said, any advice about learning all the notes on the fretboard? John, once again, type in learning the notes on the fretboard, Drue, right? I've got a great lesson there which has helped many people master the notes. Once again, it involves using an app actually to make things faster, but there's also some really great advice there, John, so check that out. All right, cool. Bumblejumper says, are you a metalhead? I like metal. Don't get me wrong, I love metal. I love old school metal, Metallica, Pantera, Machine Head. I love that sort of stuff. And my best mate is into new metal. Well, I say not new metal, what the 2000s called new metal, but metal that's pushing the forefront. For example, I was at a Mastodon show only last Sunday, and that was fantastic. So I'm a fan of metal, definitely. So Drew, looking at your perfect lesson right now, sounds really cool. I'm hoping to buy an electroacoustic soon. Any good recommendations? Budget is around 200 quid. I could save up more. Robbie, I think for that sort of money, you might be able to get yourself a Yamaha. So that's where I'd look. I would, 200 quid is, it can be done if it's second hand. So try things like eBay, but I would, if I was you, if you can double your budget, then you're going to get something like a Takamine or like a Faith, which I use in my videos currently. I'd be looking at that. I hope that helps. Okay, so Device Trick said, okay, so using that is great. Matthew said Rocksmith, yes. I haven't actually tried that one. Okay, so next thing that I want to talk about. So we talked about YouTube video lessons. Little unorganized, a little bit overwhelming, and you're structuring them yourself. YouTube lessons are great, don't get me wrong. I am grateful that you have found me through YouTube. I am not biting the hand that feeds me. I think it's fantastic that I can reach out to you guys all across the world through YouTube. I'm just saying that the structure of YouTube videos, you having to pick the songs yourself, it can get a little bit overwhelming sometimes for you choosing the right songs. And I'm also saying that learning from different teachers isn't ideal. So then we said guitar video games. Guitar video games are great. They give you feedback, but they can't show you how to improve. So let's look at the big one, the one that was around many, many years, which is one-to-one lessons. Now, one-to-one lessons, you get feedback. A good teacher will lay out a practice plan. You won't get overwhelmed. They'll show you what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and they'll put a practice plan in place to help you improve. So what are the negatives? Well, the negatives are one-to-one lessons are expensive. If you're having one lesson every week for a month, then you're looking at around about £140, $190. So it's expensive. The other thing is you're limited to locality, to finding a teacher that works for you. So music is a really broad spectrum of taste, and there's different people like different things. So if you go to a guitar teacher and they're all about shredding metal, and they're saying, look, no, we don't want to be learning that. You want to be learning the shredding metal piece. This sounds awesome, doesn't it? That might not be your cup of tea. So you've got to find a teacher that has the same music taste as you and that understands your learning style and the way that you go about things. And ultimately a teacher that doesn't sit there and play all the time in the lessons. A teacher that's passion is teaching, not necessarily playing. Okay? So it does have its advantages, and on top of disadvantages. On top of that, you've got to take time out of your day to go to that teacher's house or studio or whatever to have lessons with them. So anyone who's had one-to-one lessons, leave a comment in the description below. Let me know if you've had similar things like this. Perhaps you're lucky enough to find a teacher who has the same music taste as you and who you can afford to pay every month and who lives close by, so you're not taking too much time. So I'm going to get to some of your comments in a second. Everything is overwhelming when you're learning. Sarah, yes, it can feel like that, definitely. It really can feel like that. So what I've been putting into place recently is something called the premium student area. And this came about because people were asking me questions about how to play a song from beginning to end and how to learn guitar effectively. Now, I just want to break down that YouTube videos, they are great, right? All three of those methods do work for people. People are saying in the comments, Rocksmith's great, and those guitar video learning games can be good for you. I wanted to put something together that still offers you one-to-one feedback. Now, how does that one-to-one feedback work if we're learning over the internet? Well, it's a little daunting for some people, but you record yourself playing a song, then you could submit it to me and I will put a practice plan in place. I will watch back your video, give you positive feedback, tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And that's all part of the subscription that you can get with premium student areas. That's called the video review service. There's also lots of premium courses there where you can learn with a structured approach with PDF tabs. Fingerstyle Freedom is my fingerstyle course that's been really, really popular over the last year or so. On top of that, there's things called the Practice Buddy system where you can learn with other members. You can keep yourself motivated. And basically, it's a big community with things like webinars and group Skype lessons. So I just wanted to do a little plug on that. Normally, I don't plug my stuff, but it's been a really big day for me today releasing this premium student area. It's actually taken me 2 years to put it together, and today is the day when people are I can finally meet you guys. You know, I've been waiting to do that for so long, to actually hear you playing, to get you into Skype group lessons. And it's just a really big deal for me, and it's finally ready. Anyway, that's enough about Premium Student Area. Guys, let's have a quick look at your comments, all right? By the way, if you want to find more out about Premium Student Area, look in the video description. So let's have a look. I'm not going to go too far. Someone said they're too good for that app that I was talking about. Can you please teach us how to play Hotel California, the solo? I don't really do solos, Rollingston. Praise the, hey man, I'm trying to play Django Reinhardt songs. Yes, you know what? I would really like to do a jazz song. So thanks for that suggestion. Can I shred? No, shredding's not really my thing. Harry Lynn says, Percy, when I played a certain guitar game, it didn't seem to actually teach me how to play guitar, but rather how to play the game. Harry, you have knocked it on the head, mate. Brilliant. Love that. Yeah, how to play the game, not necessarily how to play guitar. Don't get me wrong, they are good, right? They're good. They give you a sense of rhythm and things, but it's not really learning guitar, in my opinion. So can you teach us how to chuck, please? Do you mean this sort of thing, right? So hang on, where's my acoustics? You mean this sort of sound, this. Now this is a really quick one, nice and easy, right? There's two ways of doing it. The one chuck is you just kind of take a little knuckle here and you just slam it into the strings, okay, like this. So you just hit, it's basically hitting the strings into the fretboard. Okay, and the other thing that can be seen as a chuck, and something that Jack Johnson and Ed Sheeran used a lot, is where you're playing chords, that sort of thing. Okay, so that happens with muting. So you're touching the strings, releasing the chord shape, and then going down the strings to achieve that sound. I hope that helps. So it's okay, so Sarah, can you move to Spain once? Okay, Sarah, well, yeah, I can't really do that for you right now. Guys, great for your comments. Let's get back to some other things that I want to talk to you about. So the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is, where is my guitar stand? The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is guitar jack leads. So if you don't know what a jack lead is, a jack lead is something that basically a lead that you plug into the guitar. And recently, I've discovered this lead that my best friend showed me about. So normally when you plug in a guitar lead, you get these sounds, right? So let me just plug this in. Right, that's a horrible noise, yes? Not great sounding at all. So when you plug it in, maybe you guys have found this out, right? You plug it in and you get that really crackly, not great sounding noise. So what I've found recently is something called a Nutrix silent plug, which means that you plug in, I should have organised this a little better. Let me show you. So this is the jack lead part, and you plug in and you get no noise whatsoever, right? Isn't that cool? And when you unplug, no noise, no horrible sounding noise. And I just wanted to share this with you. I know that my channel is about acoustic guitar playing, but you do plug in electroacoustics. And I just figured it's such a cool idea. I'm not going to go really much into the detail about how it works, because to be honest with you, I don't really know. But if you have a look at this little part here of the lead, so this bit isn't live. And what happens is as the guitar goes around it, this bit comes in. Now, I wish I did electronics at school, because I'd love to be able to tell you how this happens. But basically, when this pushes in, it becomes live. You can hear that, right? Okay, when you take it away, it's dead. So that horrible noise that you get when you unplug, especially when you do it at a gig, if you unplug, these things are called Nutrix silent plugs. Check them out. I think they're fantastic. That's just one thing I wanted to share with you. Okay, how long have we got? Right, let's go for a few more Q&As and see what you guys are saying. Do I need to learn scales? Matthew Wood, it depends. What is it that you want to do with the guitar, right? Leave me another comment. Are you looking to play loads of guitar solos? Are you looking to strengthen your fingers? Are you a strummer? If not, perhaps not. Would you ever have a jam session with one of your subscribers? Absolutely. Definitely. Yes. As soon as the technology is available, it's nearly there now. So we play in real time. Because the thing about jamming is one person sets the time and the other person plays over the top, right? That's a jam. Now, when you get a delay with the other person in another country or whatever, it's hard to do a jam. But there is technology coming, sort of like hyper Skype, really, where it feels like you're in the same room as that person. So as soon as that's there, definitely love to have a jam with one of my subscribers. And also, a year from now, I'll be offering guitar retreats, which is where I can meet up with subscribers and you guys, and we'll have 3 or 4 days of playing guitar, hanging out and chilling. So I'm really looking forward to that. Have you done a tutorial on Journey? Don't Stop Believing? I have not. Thanks for the suggestion. Hey Drew, do some practical music theory lessons and please make some jazz blues lessons. Practical music theory is on the way, promise you that. Hope your hard work over the last 2 years pays off. I'm sure it will. Thanks, Sarah. Cheers. I really appreciate that. William, so I want to learn on Skype with you. William, if you want to do that, then check the link in the video description and follow the link to Premium Lifetime. Okay. So how to find out a strumming pattern by ear. Now, the ear training stuff, anyone who's been in on my lives for a little while knows that we've been doing some ear training and it's been great fun. It really electrifies the comments and people are always encouraging each other. So I do want to do some more ear training. The strumming patterns and things I will get into more detail about nearer the time. Excuse me. Okay, that's versus Spanish. We use a lot of rumba. Okay, so Dennis, so good to see you live. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I'm just at that point where I need to make the decision on which way to go, as I've said in my emails. Dennis, entirely up to you. Okay, if you want to send me an email, great. So great to hear from you again. It's been too long. How long should the nails be for fingerstyle? My nails hit the strings by accident while using the pick. This is a really good question. Excuse me. I don't use fingernails with my picking. I've always used the tips of my fingers. I've never actually tried using my fingernails, so I'm not in the right position to comment here. But if you're talking about playing with fingernails, let's just read the question again. My nails hit the strings by accident while using the pick. Well, if you're saying that your nails hit the strings by accident while using the pick, you've grown them long because of fingerstyle, then my advice is perhaps don't have long fingernails and just use your tips of your fingers. It's a bit of a tricky one to answer that, actually, but thanks for the question. Would you like me to send you 20 bucks? Right, okay, so I think I know what you're getting at here, Bumble Jumbo. So I really should talk about this more, but I do have something called Super Chat initialized with YouTube. So that means if you want your question read out first, then all you need to do is pay any amount that you like. It's available in 20 countries. You can pay in dollars and I'll get an instant notification saying this is there and I will answer your question as best I can. So if you do want to use Super Chat, Bumble Jumbo, then you're more than welcome to. Absolutely fine by me. And also if you want to get a question read out live in the chat, then you can do that as well. Okay, so thanks. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some other things that I wanted to say. So this time last year, in fact, it was about 3 weeks from now, I did a live with my son, Jules, my little baby boy. He was only, I think, 2 weeks old when I did that live. I was very brave for doing a live with a 2-week-old baby. And actually, my wife and I still watch that video now. It's really great to just see how much bigger he's got. Now, next week, I'm going to do another live with him because it'll be nearly our year anniversary and he's actually getting close to 1 year old. He'll be 1 on the 28th of December. So I am going to have him here. He's going to make a lot more noise this time. I'm not going to have him for the whole live, but I just think it's really cool for us to say, look, dude, we've done your first year together. You should also see him try to play guitar. He can kind of grab the strings and do this. And if all else fails, he just hits the instrument. So back to the exciting news, right? We've got, my wife and I have another baby on the way. That's going to be born, he or she, we don't know yet. We're going to have the scan in 2 weeks' time. Will be born on the beginning of May. So 2 babies on the way. We figured, I know they're really close together. There's going to be about just under 18 months between them. And we figured let's just have a family, have them close together. I always wanted to have two children that could grow up together. I grew up as an only child, and while and I've always thought I would have liked to have grown up with a brother and sister, so I did the same for Jules. So that's my big exciting news, guys. I know that that's not necessarily guitar related, but it is really cool to share some of my personal life with you as well. And as I said, next week, next live. By the way, if you want to get notified of when that live is, then hit the bell icon, which is just here, so you can you'll be notified when I am live. It would be great to see you there for that next one. So a few people have started commenting on that. So thank you, Sarah. That's wonderful. Irish Whiskey, thank you. Can you play a bit of Perfect by Ed Sheeran? Daniel, check the link in YouTube cards. There's a version of it there that you can have a listen to. What picks guitar acoustic? So, okay, cool. So the next thing I want to tell you about is, I've already mentioned it at the beginning of the lesson, which is the latest lesson, which is Perfect by Ed Sheeran. It is a fingerstyle instrumental. There's loads of lessons on YouTube showing you how to do it the way that Ed does it and do the sort of sing and play thing. But I wanted to make something different. Not all of us can sing like Ed Sheeran. And if you can't sing like Ed Sheeran, or you can't sing at all, you might want the guitar to do the singing for you. So the beauty of fingerstyle, if you've never tried it, is that the guitar is accompanying itself while there's melody playing. It's that lovely, beautiful duality of bass notes, pinches, and melody. And it's a wonderful combination of music. So that's why fingerstyle, I figured, would work really well with a really pretty ballad like that Ed Sheeran's done. Okay, a few more comments, and then I'm going to start wrapping this up. It really has been great to speak with you today. By the way, leave a comment if you've enjoyed this live. I'm going to keep doing these lives weekly. I will be here next week, and then there'll be a 1 week break because it's Christmas. If you have really enjoyed these lives and you're getting something out of it, then let me know. I know today we haven't done our ear training, and we will be looking at things like improvisation and how to get better at hearing music and then making it come through our fingertips. Harry, thanks for the congratulations. Great to hear from you. On which guitar dice you play on the acoustic guitar? I don't quite know what you mean there. David Mitchell, have you done any R&B fingerstyle songs? I haven't, David. Nice suggestion. Probably said talk about improvisation, how to do improvisation. Should I use a pick or my fingers if I want to learn how to play guitar? TJ, great question. My advice is start with a pick and learn some chords, learn some basic open chords with a pick. If you're feeling comfortable with that, then start picking the individual strings with your fingers and see how that feels. And what you find is the more you learn guitar, you'll move in one direction. You'll prefer one sound to the other eventually. So I really hope that's very useful for you. I can just see that the stream is freezing, so I hope you guys are still with me. Dave, having you with me, fantastic show, Drue. Thanks a lot. It's really been a pleasure to have you guys with me. I'm going to be wrapping up there. All right, keep on playing. Have a great day and see you next week.